Hey guys, welcome back to Rock Your Soul. I am Nicole Eaton and I'm so excited that you've decided to join me. It is a new year. We are officially in the new year in 2020. And I don't know about you, but there's something about the new year that makes me reflect on what have I been doing. And this new year in particular was different for me in the sense that it was really kind of the capping off of a decade, the capping off of a phase of my life or a season of my life that I'm just feeling is done and over with. So we are looking towards this new year, and I hope you're looking towards it with excitement of what do I want to create? What is important to me? What brings me joy? Now, I get into the habit really easily with a new year with new excitement of overcommitting myself or getting over ambitious and adding a bunch of stuff, right? I want to do this, do this, do this, do this. And although I'm not against that, what I would encourage for you is to think of what it is you're ready to let go of. What is it that you maybe need to stop or get rid of? So we're going to eliminate some stuff. So this is 20 things to give up in 2020. This is a blog that I've been working on that I'm now turning into a podcast. These are all things that you might consider giving up in 2020. This list is really compiled of things that have been negatively impacting me or my friends or my family members. And it's just seemingly universal right now. And also, we've got some really wild energy. We've got some eclipses and some full moons, and it's just a little crazy right now in general. So if you're feeling a little out of whack, this is such a great time to get centered again, to get refocused on what it is you can control. And I believe it's this. So number one is excuses. We're giving up on excuses in 2020. So if you've caught yourself in the past year or decade saying, I don't have enough time, or I'll do that when blank happens. I'll do that when life's less crazy. I'm too old for that. I'm too ambitious for that. I'm too whatever for that. If you've said any of the following, you're making excuses. And what excuses do is they stop us from making important steps into our personal goals and to our potential. When you're making excuses, you're not taking responsibility for your life, for your time, for your energy, for reaching your goals. You're handing that over to this falsehood, really, because we can structure our lives however we want. What you might want to try is being mindful to catch yourself of making excuses the next time, but also asking yourself, is it that you don't have time, or is it just not a priority? Is it not important to you? Are you spending your time on a lot of other things or social media or whatever, but you don't have time for this goal? So check your excuses. Number two, giving up on yourself. The mirror in my gym, I have a home gym. I love working out. That is something that I do daily. And it says on the top, don't quit on yourself. This is like my little mantra because I've been doing a really hard workout program. And every time I'm pushing towards a goal or I have 3 sets of 15 reps and I just want to die because nothing in my body was built to do a push-up. I don't know if anybody else has that problem, but I can do them, but I just mentally hate them. So I have to play this game with myself of don't quit on yourself. Why? Because your dreams and your goals are worth it. Why? Because you want those strong arms and that strong back. Why? Because you want better for yourself. You are worth pushing a little harder for, whether it's the gym or your life or your relationships or your overall well-being. Be intentional this year about pushing through the hard moments. Create or craft a mantra for those times where you just want to give up, because that happens. We can't stay in this beautiful, motivated, inspired space at all times. Our energy fluctuates with our day, with our lives, with our stress. So it's your job to be intentional about finding a mantra, finding something that's going to help you through those tough times. Because this year, we're not giving up on yourself. You're not giving up on yourself. Number 3, unrealistic expectations. I am all for having big dreams. If you've ever met me, I probably encourage you to dream a little bit bigger. When I was 8, I was like 100% sure I was going to be the next Mariah Carey. My vocal cords never actually caught up to that whole notion, but I've always been somebody who's seen the big picture and gone after things that other people said were impossible. And it's so good to have those massive goals. However, it's so important to check how you're measuring your life. How are you measuring your day to day? How are you measuring feeling success or feeling contentment? A lot of times we put these expectations on ourselves that if we don't do X, Y, Z, then we're just not doing it. We're not there. If we haven't gotten to this point, then we're not successful. So check that your expectations are not setting you up for failure. Getting clear on what you expect out of yourself is helpful, but setting smaller goals in the meantime that are reachable, that are doable. Like, for example, I do a 10 minutes a day. For 10 minutes a day, I read. That's doable, right? And then when I'm done reading, I feel accomplished because that was one of my goals. That was something that I had set up that I wanted to do because I want to learn more, know more. I like reading other people's opinions, thoughts, studies, journals, that kind of thing. So set up smaller goals that are doable, are reachable for you while you're pushing towards your big goals, because that's going to help you find balance in that day to day, build your self-esteem, and make sure your expectations are in check so that you're feeling more content throughout your day, so that you're feeling more successful. Number 4, being anywhere but here, not being present. Look, this moment is it. This is all you have. You cannot change the past. You can't go start structuring the future right now, but you can make the most of this present moment. When we place our mental energy elsewhere, it just doesn't serve us. Being present is actually the most efficient use of our energy. It is how we have the most meaningful interactions. It's how we get the most done. So if you are structuring your future and you're setting aside to do that, that's one thing. But if you're with a group of people and you're thinking about your career path, that's a whole nother thing. You're detracting from your connection. You're ruining it, basically. So focusing on being present in the moment. And if you're having a hard time doing that, if you're feeling really distracted, bringing your energy into the present moment by incorporating your 5 senses is the quickest way to do that. So either take a deep breath, feel that come in, and then play the game of like, okay, what do I see? Okay, I'm looking around. I see all these beautiful blinds open in this. I have a ton of windows in my office. And what do you smell? Oh, I just made some breakfast and it still smells like, toast and whatever. What do you hear? There's that buzzing of the phone. So bringing your energy into the present moment makes you use it more efficiently, makes your connections deeper, and puts you open to experiencing the best of what is right now, because this is really all you can control. And if you are thinking a ton about the past or present, ask yourself, in this very moment, is there anything I can do about either of them? And if the answer is no, don't do anything. If the answer is yes, then start doing it if you're in a position. If not, if in that moment you're out to dinner with friends, stay out to dinner with friends. Be present. Number 5, we're going to give up complaining. This year, we are replacing complaints with appreciation. It's fine to vent. Everybody has those days where it's like, holy crap, I need to get this off my chest. This has just been something that's heavy on my heart. Venting is fine. Venting isn't daily. It isn't all day long. If you are finding something wrong with every detail of your life, if you are miserable in every area of your life, if every time you go out to eat, you're annoyed at the server, or you hate the food, or everything seems bad, I want you to begin to shift your attention. Shift your attention to, what can I appreciate about this situation? I went out to dinner with some friends the other night and the service was so slow. We were there for like maybe 2 hours and there really wasn't many of us. But the food was so good and the playoff games were on. So there was TVs going, people were cheering. It was a lot of fun. I was surrounded by great company. So there are always going to be things that you can focus on that are negative. Your job is to shift your attention to the people, places, and experiences that are bringing you joy. And you can even go as far as training your brain to see that, because sometimes when we start seeing the negative, we're training our brain to see more negative. It's easier. So your job is to begin to create a list either in the day or at night of all the things you were grateful for or appreciated throughout the day or loved that happened throughout the day. What this is going to do is knowing that that's coming, setting that up and creating a routine out of that is going to help you look for that throughout the day, consciously and unconsciously. Okay, what can I appreciate? And it's just going to allow more fun things, things to be happy about, things to appreciate into your life. Also, if you need help with consistency and creating consistency in your routine, I have just dropped out a bunch of mini courses. There's 3 mini courses. You can get them individually for $15, or you can create a bundle, get the bundle for $40. And they're just shorter courses, 40 minutes long, that are just life-changing. They're just good courses to set up. There's worksheets to help you get in alignment. And that's on my website, NicoleEaton.com, NicoleEaton.com. Sorry for the tangent. 6, chronic consuming. I learned a lot about conscious consumerism a couple of years ago. And although I am not the absolute best at it, is something that I'm working on being more intentional of using the Keurig refillable pods rather than the disposable ones, being mindful of what you're consuming and being intentional about working with companies or purchasing from companies that are already using conscious and ethical practices can change your whole world, your life. Even just one small change can switch things up. Recycle, reuse, refurbish this year. 2020 is the year of reusing, right? 7, blaming others. 2020 is the year of getting a grip on your own power, which means taking responsibility for your own stuff. This is the year we're going to stop playing victim to our circumstances and make a change. You can't stay in the same position or the same relationship or the same dynamic and complain about it. You have to own and take accountability and responsibility for the ways you're contributing to the situation. Are you complaining but not leaving? Are you upset but not speaking up on how you feel? As Jen Sincero says, it's not your fault if you're fucked up. It's your fault if you stay fucked up. So blaming others is something we are taking a look into ourselves. We are taking responsibility for our lives this year. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Number 8, being too serious. That is no fun. Life is meant to be fun. And I think that being serious or feeling like we need to be a certain way or overly professional or whatever it is you feel like you need to be for other people's sakes, I think it detracts from our authenticity and our ability to be fully ourselves. So if you have to be super duper professional at all times in public, laugh, play, and be stupid at your house. Give yourself permission to be silly. Have dance parties. Do terrible drawings. Me and my daughter is really incredible artist, and she didn't get that skill from me. I am not a good artist, and we did a clay competition where we had to make ourselves, and I will post that somewhere because it's hilarious how bad my clay self is. But it was so much fun to make, and it was so much fun to let it be bad. Give yourself permission to stop being so serious. Number 9, emotional coldness. I'm not sure how we've morphed into a culture that requires us to pretend that we don't have emotions, but in a lot of ways we have. Recognize where you have your own walls up or aren't letting people in or refuse to be vulnerable. Practicing vulnerability and telling your truth in your close relationships is going to help open that up in other relationships. Look, people gravitate towards warmth. They crave warmth and truth and light and openness. And when you start to create space for that in your own life and in your own relationships, people will reciprocate it. It's scary. It's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to approach warmth in a situation that doesn't necessarily require it or call for it. But again, it changes the whole energy of the space. It opens things up and it gives people permission to be themselves. Number 10, playing it safe. Good news, you can play it safe when you're dead. You don't know how much time you have left. Do you feel like wasting one more year not doing something because you're scared? Do all the things, see everything, go everywhere, start that book, text that person, join the group, try something new. I dare you. This is the year where you are done being afraid of things that could be fun, of things that could be cool, of things that could take you to the next level. Ask for what you want. Take that risk. 11, we're giving up toxic people this year. If you have someone in your life that's chronically making you second guess yourself, that's putting you down, that has nothing nice to say, think twice before you include them in your life, in your day, in your texting. Take an inventory of the people in your life. Who makes you feel heavy? Who makes you feel doubtful about yourself? Who makes you feel light and free? Who pushes you into a better version of yourself? Cheerleaders are the people we're surrounding ourselves with in 2020, the people who want to see us do well, who want to see us succeed, the people who check in, the people who are on our team even when we're a hot mess. Those are the people we are rising up with in 2020. And you can release toxicity in your life by not responding or using the block feature on all social media and on your text messaging. 12, we're giving up trying to control everything. The universe is literally laughing out loud at you. The minute you realize you truly can't control everything is the moment you set yourself free, because controlling things absorbs so much energy. It creates unnecessary anxiety. It makes us act in ways that we just wouldn't or want to otherwise. You can't shape or dictate how other people behave. You can't shape or dictate an experience that's not in your personal control. So keep in mind that the universe has your back. Set your good intentions and try to let it go. You're wasting a lot of time and energy by focusing on something this minute that you just can't control. And if you want something to control, fixate on being more present in your life. Fixate on being intentional about filling your life with happiness. Fixate on releasing some of that energy through meditation or through working out. Number 13, we're giving up a lack of focus. Are you wasting a ton of time on social media or fixating or ruminating about a challenging situation instead of actively pursuing your dreams or following those goals? This is a really good time to get reflective and track your day. What are you spending time on? Where is all your energy going? Is there something you'd rather be doing? Try to refocus on what's important, what tasks, experiences, and intentions initiate feelings of well-being and success. You can sit down and just write it out. What is it that you really want to be doing with your time? What would be a better use of your time? This doesn't mean that we have to be filling our time with all of this really intense work. This means that we can be intentional about having more fun. We can be intentional about being present in our conversations and with our children or our spouses. We can be intentional about how we're using our time. Number 14, we're giving up being fake. The world needs you to be you, not the people-pleasing, agreeable version of you. We're all super flawed, beautiful people with our own unique expressions, ideas, and opinions. You were put here to be yourself, not a replica of someone else. So learn more about yourself. That's going to help you feel more confident, feel easier if you know who you are. Ask yourself those exploratory questions, and most importantly, give yourself permission to answer them honestly. This is going to give you a clear sense of both who you are and what you stand for. Practice telling your truth, practice acting in your truth, and try to create a life where you're living from a place of truth. Number 15, we're going to give up spending too much time on your phone. This is the age of the constant connection, but studies have shown we're lonelier than we've ever been. In-person connections are being disrupted, cut short by phone distractions. Be intentional about spending less time on your phone. I've been really intentional about most of the day keeping my phone in a drawer in my kitchen. Just, I don't see it. It's out of sight, out of mind. And that way I have time to create. I have time to connect with people. I have time to think about what I want, to read, to whatever I need to do. I have time because I'm not sitting there mindlessly scrolling through random stuff. So be intentional about creating real life experiences, join in-person groups, join meetings, join activities if you can, and create a sense of community. It's going to be really helpful. You're going to feel better. Number 16. I'm going to say we're going to give up drinking and smoking. However, I do love a good glass of wine. I have another podcast called Just Buzzed where we have a couple drinks and we talk about BuzzFeed articles. But what I want you to think about is drinking and smoking more often than not lowers your vibration. It lowers your energetic frequency, and your frequency is what makes you feel happy. It's what makes you feel light and free. I'm all for a good glass of wine, but create mindfulness about how much and how often you're consuming in your mood and behaviors before and after you're doing that. So if you start to feel anxious or tired the next day, most people when they're detoxing from alcohol, even just small amounts, start to feel a little jittery, anxious, or even depressed. So ask yourself, is this really adding to my life? Is there something I can do with my friends instead of going out to drink? Because it is, no matter what you're using it for, probably not helping you in the long run. Number 17, we're giving up gossip. If you think back to our little golden books we had when we were kids, they'd remind you that if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. And as adults, we've kind of discovered that gossip is kind of easy bonding. When we find something that we mutually don't like about another person, we can bond and become friends over it. And it's super, super common. So part of you resetting that standard is being mindful of what you say. If you find someone saying something bad about somebody else, feel free to either exit that conversation, walk away from it, or even just make a point to comment on something that you appreciate about that person, because other people will just mentally make a note of, oh, that wasn't nice of what I said. Sometimes people don't mean to be mean people. They don't. I really believe that people are inherently good. Our job is just to make sure that we're not participating in things that are harmful to other humans. Number 18, overcommitting. Did you agree to be on like 9 different community boards? How many extracurriculars did you sign your kids up for? Maybe it's time to recommit to yourself by undoing your commitments to other people or other things. Reassess what's important. Our time is limited and it is valuable. What actually needs to get done and what can wait? What are you taking responsibility for that maybe isn't even your responsibility? What brings you joy and what brings you down? It's just time to look at all of your commitments and make sure they're things that fill you up, that create fulfillment, connection, happiness, joy, and fulfillment in your life. If it's not doing that, you really need to take a second look at what you've committed to and if it's time to let it go or hand it over to somebody else who is going to greet it with fresh energy. I had a client the other day who was talking about, she was on a couple different boards, but one of the boards started off as something she really enjoyed and was really becoming something that felt pretty unorganized and weighed pretty heavily on her in terms of her amount of work that she was needing to do with it. And so we really talked about what does that look like if somebody else comes in with a ton of new, fresh energy, new ideas, a way of seeing things in a new way. Sometimes handing things over that we've been a part of or have committed to actually serves that business, that service, that volunteer opportunity better because somebody coming in with fresh energy over us sitting there with our totally drained energy and our lack of enthusiasm for it. So sometimes handing it over is a powerful and a good thing. Number 19, avoidance. In 2020, we're done avoiding hard things. We're done avoiding the difficult conversations. Maybe you have a mountain of debt you've been shoving off and not answering the creditor calls. Maybe you only need a few more credits to graduate with that degree. Maybe you've been wanting to mend a relationship, but you're scared of how the other person will respond. Take a deep breath. It's okay to feel the discomfort, but you have to do it anyway. This is the year that we're facing our stuff head on, because you will feel lighter, you will feel more free, and you will have so much extra energy to spend on things that aren't that aren't overwhelming, that aren't that deep, dark hole in the back of the ground, right? Number 20, last but not least, is fear. We're giving up fear of asking for what you want. How exactly do you plan on getting what you want if you're too scared to ask for it? I mean, it would be nice if somebody would drop a promotion or a raise or a discount in our hands, but sometimes we just need to ask for it. And I always admire my oldest daughter. She has no fear in asking for what she wants. She never has. And actually, sometimes it makes me a little uncomfortable or cringe because I'm like, don't ask for that. But she always gets what she wants because she's not afraid to say, I need this from you. I'm asking for this. So if there is something in your life, maybe you need more alone time. Maybe you need a night without kids. Maybe you need somebody to communicate with you better. Maybe you need a promotion or a raise because you've been in that job for too long and you're just tired and not getting paid what you're worth. It's time you ask for it. Practice saying it out loud. Practice with a friend. Practice asking for what you want, because this is going to be the space where you change your life, is A, when you identify what you need, and B, when you really start asking for it. So those are my 20 tips for 2020 of things that you just need to give up on. So you might even add up any of the things that spoke to you of like, oh, that's something I do. I really want to be mindful of this year. Again, you're not going to be perfect if you've created a way of living. You just need to give yourself permission to identify, be mindful of like, oh, I'm creating excuses again, or oh, I caught myself gossiping about somebody, or oh man, I am overcommitting to this. And just give yourself permission for you to release it, to start over, to meet yourself with compassion and try again. And just as a reminder, you can head over to www.nicoleeaton.com, NicholeEaton. And I have a new program called the Better Year, Better You bundle. It is a bundle of 3 mini courses, so smaller 40-minute courses each. And you can get those courses individually for $15 or the whole thing for $40. I'm so excited about these courses because they really are so detailed in how they're going to change your life, how to think about energy, how to think about your mental health, how to create consistency in your life, how to manifest more love for yourself and change your perception of yourself, how to tap into your own intuition so that you can make decisions that are in alignment with your best and highest good. These are real. I've never been so excited for classes I put out, and so honestly proud of them. I think you will absolutely love them, and I promise, and I truly deeply believe they will change your life. So head over to www.nicoleeaton.com to grab those courses, or my Cash Money Crash Course, or to book a session with me. I am booking into 2020. But thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you so much for listening. You can do me a huge favor by sharing this podcast with at least one friend, sharing it on your Instagram, tag me in it at NicoleEaton.xo, or shooting over to Apple Podcasts and giving me a rating. I would really, really appreciate it. And I appreciate you for all your love and support. Catch you later.